Alright, how's it going everyone? So today we're going to be checking out the skill tree plugin that I was going to redo. So I went ahead and finished it for you guys. Let's go ahead and check it out here. So pretty much all that's happening is it's going to be a simple plugin to where you'll have prerequisite uh, integer amounts for the next skill that you can go to, and then depending on however many points that you put in, which is the max level that's set in the inspector, then the next level will unlock for that skill, and then so on and so forth. So this max rank is 3, and for the next skill it is 2. So if we put 2 points in here, and you'll see the rank be reflected there, so rank 2, and then this one is just the last one, so it can be put in however. So everything is going to be reflected in the inspector here, and yep, it's pretty simple. So let's go ahead and delve into these 3 skills here. So the first skill in the tree is always going to be the one with a little bit different logic, obviously, because there's no prerequisite that has to look for. So that's why you'll see in the second skill here, for the second tier, there's a previous skill, game object variable, and for the third there's also one, but not for the first. So in the skill itself there is just 4 events, and these are, the first event is for when you click, it'll send the add event, and then when you mouse hover and mouse exit, it'll send these 2 events, and then this is an update that runs in the background. So when you click the first rank, okay, we just have some debug set here, and then this right here is a temporary variable that we're setting called mod. Now mod is pretty much going to be the value of add value and level modifier. So pretty much what I'm trying to accomplish here for you guys is you can set a base value for every time you click on the skill. So if I click on this once, let's say, and there was an add value of 100 and a level modifier of 0, then it would only add 100 points. But if you set the modifier, and this is going to be 10%, so zero point 0.1. So if we do a modifier, then it'll do our add value times the 0 0.1, and then it will set it to that temporary variable. And then the next check that we do here is just if our current level, which is the current level here, is less than our max level, we can run the logic. So this is obviously just saying every time we click, if we click and our current level isn't reached the max level, keep adding all the values. Now the good thing about this level modifier and the add value being exposed like this is you could set them, let's say with like maybe an item that you pick up, or just you physically leveling up in here. So if let's say I click it once, I can go ahead and set add value or level modifier as a local float. I can just set that to, once I click it once, it'll set it to whatever it is plus 25. So it would be the same as this here, except for not obviously multiplying. So we would just do 100 plus whatever it is, and then 25, and then that way we can constantly add. For the first rank it'll be 100 and a 10% modifier, and then the next level will be 200 that's going to add, and then 20% modifier on top of that. You know what I mean? So all this can be set while you're playing the game, but I just have it basic right now. It doesn't do any of that in here, but you can simply do it. So this debug pretty much lets us know what the current level is in the inspector here, or in the console log, I'm sorry. And then the change attribute is what I have these skills doing right now. So this is obviously going to be game specific. Maybe you want to add passive things to your player, like passive attack speed, or maybe you just want to put 1 point into something and have that add a skill instead of some attributes. So you could obviously do that in here. This is pretty much after the current level and the setting the text, or in the middle here. This is where you want to add your whatever logic that you're doing. But obviously, if you're adding a skill, you would just want to max it at one point. So yeah, that's what that does. So obviously right now I'm just taking that temporary variable that we have, which was our math up here, and we're pretty much setting the health of our player to what the what our all of our values are here. So it'll add to the current value that the player has already. That's what the change attribute does. It already takes the current health, and we're pretty much just adding the outcome that we have up here. And then the last thing here is we're just setting the text on our rank here to rank with a space here. So it'll be rank and then space plus current level. So it'll say rank 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then, yep, that's pretty much it. So, and then mouse enter is simply just updating values on our tooltip. This is all pretty simple. In each skill, you have a rank. You have a rank and a icon, and the tooltip info, which it's just an empty panel object that I put a blocks thing just to clean up, so you don't have a bunch of variables on your actual skill here. So pretty much the mouse enter just grabs the info from here, which is the title of the tooltip, the type. This is obviously, you can change all this in here to whatever you want, but I just had the type as this will modify your health, and then I just add a brief description in here with some color coding in here to kind of break up the text. So just to see that again in game here, when we hover over something, it'll say, in the description, adds green text, which is color lime in the brackets here. So it'll add 100, and this is flawed here if you're going to change these values. If you're going to change the add value and level modifier, then you obviously wouldn't want to set those things here. You would just want to say something arbitrary like, add value and modifier, because obviously if you set a value here, you would have to change it constantly with inside of this blocks event for the skill. So just simple. I don't have it changing any of that. It just tells you it's going to add 100 and then also add 10% to that. Same thing for these ones here. So yeah, you can kind of break it up that way, and that is the mouse hover and mouse exit. And then obviously when you enter, it'll enable the root of our tooltip, and you want to make sure your tooltip is always at the bottom of your UI elements, pretty much for everything, or else it'll render behind some of your UI elements. So always make sure it's at the very bottom of everything. So yeah, and then mouse exit just disables the root. It doesn't reset any of the values because the logic does it itself when you hover over something else. So there's no overlapping of any descriptions or anything. And this is pretty much just setting the for this skill here. Let's go back to the skill. This pretty much just sets the if the current level of this skill equals the max level of the skill, then we're going to set it to not be clickable. Okay, and this is this bool value here, and we're going to set the disabled color because it starts as red. Obviously this is only really for the rank 2 and rank 3, but just to show you, it'll change its disabled color to green, so that way when you max it out, it's not going to be red, it'll be green. So that's a little way to change that there. So let's go ahead and move on to the second tier skill. Same thing, has rank, icon, and tooltip info, and we'll go ahead and hop in here. Now pretty much what this does in the disable is where the previous skill logic comes into play, but everything in the add is the same. Obviously I just changed the attribute to damage, adding 15 damage plus 30% of 15 every time we level up. And then Same thing for mouse enter, mouse exit, just grabs our tooltip info for that skill. And then the disable, now this is where this comes in a check. So it says if the current level in our previous skill as integer, so if the current level integer amount in our previous skill, we just drag and drop the game object from our previous skill into there, if the level of it is equal to the max level of it, then we will then we'll check if the current level of ourself is equal to the max level of ourself. So this is just personal skill related stuff. And if it's not, then we'll set the button interactable to true on our skill. So this is how we detect if enough points have been put into the previous skill. And if so, we're gonna go ahead and keep it interactable, okay? And then if we max our skill out, then we're gonna go ahead and set our disabled color to once again green. And then from the top here, if the current skill hasn't reached its level, then we're gonna keep our skill not interactable. And then that's that. And then the same thing for tier 3 or ring 3, I'm sorry. It's going to be the same logic for the add, same logic for mouse enter, mouse exit, and same logic for disable. So pretty much the goal for this was to make it just so you guys, all you had to do was pretty much just take the skill here and copy and paste it, and all you really have to do is just change the values for previous skill and these public values here along with the tooltip description. So that's how it's pretty much how you just create another skill. All you have to do is maybe if you want to make another row, you can do that. Obviously this window is not exactly set up for it if I keep adding, but if you want to add another rank, you just click rank 4, skill, this is the first skill in this rank, and then we could just change the picture to whatever, change whatever the values are, and then edit the logic in here on the add right there, and just don't have to change anything in here. We just change the add logic here and then change the previous skill. So that's how we do that. It's all pretty simple, so let's just go ahead and run through everything again. Spec tree, click talents, opens everything up, lets us max the rank out, rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, opens this rank up, rank 1, rank 2, opens this rank up, 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously you can see here that we are no longer to click on these, so we can go to the button, see that it's not interactable. Same thing for skill 2, not interactable, and maxed out, not interactable. So this will no longer add anything. And then this will also tell you guys everything you need to know in here. These errors are just those the ghost errors. These aren't anything that's wrong with the project. It's just I saved this as a prefab, and I went back and edited it, so it throws these errors. If you save your GUI elements as a prefab, it'll do that. It'll give you errors. Or I think it's not just GUI, it's for any blocks object that you change that's already a prefab and you break their instance, it'll do this. So yep, everything will be shown in here that's being done, so you guys can look at that just to debug everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead and bundle this up for you guys, and I'll probably have the inventory and crafting system done by Sunday, like I said in the post. So yep, keep an eye out for that. Alright guys, have fun.